Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ninth and final episode of this season for the Pulse Student Media Podcast. I'm your co-host Deacon Tuttle, joined by the, magical. I didn't know what to give you, so
Do we
go for it.
sound drained? Like are we hanging on by a thread right now?
I feel pretty great. I didn't think my tone of voice sounded that down, but I'm festive at least.
I feel drained. I love the Christmas sweater, by the way. That is
It's a
awesome.
spot. Yeah.
I want to get our guest thoughts on it. We got Noah Wright. Hey Noah, you are our first time repeat guest on the show. How does that make you feel?
Oh, couldn't feel better.
Loved it so much. We had to have you back, and he's pretty special because he is the EIC, and we've got a lot to talk about as he is the EIC, specifically because the new magazine just came out. So, Noah, how are you feeling about that? Actually, sorry, real quick. Let me backtrack. What do you think about Deacon's sweater?
Oh, I love it. The sweater with pockets.
Yep.
Show
Maybe
him the
I'll
slot.
back up real
Stand
quick,
up. Stand up. Show the slot.
Okay, here it is. He's got this. Also, I forgot to mention he's got a scarf going on here too. So, guys, this is. You want to guess how much this cost at Fred Meyer?
I already know, so I'm not going to answer.
That's
I'm saying $22.50.
That is the price that I did pay almost by. You missed it by about $1, but listed $60 bucks. But I racked up those coupons like crazy.
No, I wanted to ask you real quick. Do you have a windshield? I'm looking at the top of your car right now, and I can't. It's kind of tripping me out.
Yeah, so I'm touching my windshield right now.
It doesn't look like it. Where you headed? You Roadhawk.
Quick little trip to the west side.
Nice.
Yeah, you gotta keep us updated on how the pass is as you go. We can have a weekly pass segment on this episode too. But anyways, let's get into it. Wanted to shout out, congratulations on the release of Pulse. I know it's backwards, newest issue. This is pretty sweet. A lot of good stuff in here. And Deacon and I are credited. We got our name in this one, which is we didn't even ask for it.
Yeah.
Where is it? Right there. Multimedia podcast hosts Evan and Deacon. What's crazy is I could actually just show this on the screen here. But how you feeling now that it's out? Now that you kind of everything go off without a hitch, or you just kind of running with it?
I mean, there's always going to be some hiccups along the way. That's how it goes with journalism. You never know when an interview is going to fall through, when a story is going to take you in a direction you don't want to go, but you end up having to run with it because that's the information you get. But I think just with all the factors we had, basically a whole new magazine staff, with the hard-hitting stories we had, I think it went as well as it could be expected.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you were to sum up this quarter, your first quarter as EIC with one word, what would it be?
One word.
One word. That's it. That's the limit.
Unexpected, I would say.
Oh, all right. When he said it too.
That was right on cue.
When he said it, that was on cue. You did that on purpose. Did you just do a brake tap, make your phone fall, do that on purpose?
I hit the gas a little bit too hard.
Oh, okay. You spinning out?
No.
Tell me, you got all-wheel drive. What are you driving?
Jeep Cherokee Sport.
Oh, the snow's not even a problem for you.
There we go. This is our paid advertising moment. In case you guys didn't know, we got sponsors now.
But like unexpected, what were some of the things that threw you for a loop? If you want to get into it a little bit, you don't have to get too detailed, but just.
Yeah, I'll give a little shout out to the EIC last quarter. Her name was Lexi Wicks.
Yep.
And I would get a couple calls from her about things that were happening. Just sometimes interviews were falling through and she was getting stressed, and then I would see how stressed she was getting. So I was like, oh goodness, I'm gonna be pulling my hair out by the middle of the quarter. And surprisingly enough, I actually wasn't pulling my hair out. Everyone was on top of things. When an interview fell through, people were scheduling new ones. People were trying to keep their stories alive as best as they could.
It's good.
Was it like, I mean, it's obviously not what you expect. Oh, here we go again. I'm just going to stop saying expected. I think that's the problem.
That's great.
Expect the unexpected. But when it's all said and done, you're looking back on it, did you have thoughts coming into it? Like, it was going to be a really tough task and you were going to have issues with it. And now, just how do you feel like now that it's done? Did you think it was easier? Did you think it was, I don't know, just what overall, like from now till then, what's the big difference in your thought process?
So you don't realize how much work is going to be put into the role until you actually get in there. So like keeping up with grading was something that I struggled with the most because we had deadlines and I'd be like, oh, I can get to grading on the weekend. And then a new assignment would come up and I'd be like, okay, well I'll grade that too. And then I got behind a little bit and then I had to catch all of it at once.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's cool. Well, with this being the fall 2022 issue, what part of the magazine were you pretty proud of that maybe exemplified that? Like that could be the cover image, the story with seasonal depression, some of the outlines with designing and the colors, or did any of that stick out to you that made it uniquely fall?
I don't know about uniquely fall, but I think unique to sort of the way that we've gone about things is we made that the sports section, which is our spotlight section, it's an extended sports section that we never since I've been on the magazine, we haven't had such a big and hard hitting sports section.
Yeah.
And it wasn't sports in the normal coverage of stat lines or spotlight. We spotlight on two athletes, but it was the side of sports that people don't think about. So injuries in sports, mental health in sports, what it's like to be a redshirt athlete and know that you're not going to play your first year, but still be on the team.
Yeah,
And
that's really cool.
Was a lot of the played into that was the fact that like, you're the EIC, so obviously you can kind of decide what's going to go in and what's going to make the final cut and whatnot. And you are an athlete as you play rugby. How much of that kind of influenced having this bigger sports section to highlight some of the stories that don't get told in sports that often or people don't know about?
Actually, I didn't play a role in it very much at all.
Really?
We had so the story on right now, sports and mental health, was proposed by Abby Death. She's on the volleyball team. We have one of our editors, Jake Hasenbrock, proposed a story for the sports section. One of our designers did as well. So all the stories that were proposed in the sports section, none of them came from me.
Yeah.
And as an athlete, do you feel like there is a lot of connection to maybe people who are, athletes here at Central when they're reading these and they can kind of relate to a lot of them, or even people like what's the connection with people who don't play sports and people who do play sports? Because obviously you got to find a nice in between the two of them.
Yeah, well, I think for sports, it's like all athletes have had an injury of some kind,
right?
So they can all relate to that. Mental health is something that everyone struggles with, and we have a story about depression, but then also talking about mental health of athletes. It's sort of those two connect, and then talking about the red shirt it's a unique story that is something that even regular athletes don't know about. Like redshirting is sort of sport specific because not all sports redshirt, but it is a population of athletes that isn't usually talked about.
I do like this. It's very informative. It feels like it's one big story at the same time, but it also feels like it's broken up into chapters that explain the different ins and outs of, the aspect of being a collegiate athlete or an athlete in general, because it shows the hurdles that they go through. It shows a lot of the, the adversity that they face, but as well as the bright spots. Like, when you look at the day in the life, it's not as deep and it's not as heavy as say the mental health one or the injuries one, because injuries and mental health, from my experience, play hand in hand with one another. It's like if something happens and you're down for a while, it's tough and you have to work through it. But in the day in the life, it's a little more up. It's a little more like, this is kind of the bright side. This is the things that we experience every day. This is what it's like. And it puts you in their shoes, which is what I think is really cool. And the designs on them are fantastic. The designers, we talked to them last week, did a great job.
Yeah,
our design staff killed it this quarter.
I would agree.
I also wanted to shout out there's a day in the life video. Actually, it's about 3 minutes long that goes more in depth on some of that stuff, and our videographers and photographers did good work on that. It's up on the website. So
where is it? Oh, you can't see it. It's right there. Right there.
Yeah, go watch that on YouTube as well.
Yeah, great stuff overall. I don't want you to stare too much at the screen here as you're driving and you're making a journey to the west side, but I'm flipping through it. I'm looking at all these pages, share your screen thoughts is a little different this week as we're kind of diving into it and just looking about. Deacon, what was your favorite story if you had to pick one?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, you know what? I think I really enjoyed the mental health in sports just because I feel like that's not talked about very much. And I'm a little biased because that was the first story I really worked on with all the web design stuff. So I stared at that for quite a while and really enjoyed all the shots that were given for that. And that's just something that really intrigues me personally.
I pulled up the one that we talked about last week, the Go Juice one that Rhodey he worked on the design with, and the story by Jake. Great job on that story. I think the design, now that we actually get to see it like up close, because when he showed it to us on his phone, he showed us like a really small view of it, so it was kind of hard to see. But the colors and everything look so cool. And when you're actually holding the magazine in your hand
Mhm.
or you're looking at it on the website, it just looks so much better. And yeah, like Noah, like you said, the designers killed it. This air fryer recipes one, I'm actually going to try one of these recipes probably tomorrow. So
And cauliflower
yeah,
butt.
the magazine coming out has already benefited me. So I think you guys are doing something right.
Air fryers are good. If you I will give a disclaimer. If you could do the hot chocolate recipes, the one that involves vanilla extract, do not put more vanilla extract than what is on there.
Oh gosh.
It overpowers everything else.
That's actually it's pretty strong. Vanilla extract is pretty strong. You have to be careful with it. Isn't Can it like actually mess you up if you take too much of it because when it's like in its pure form? Isn't it like pretty bad for you?
I don't know. Hopefully not.
I could be wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
if we're spreading misinformation on this podcast, we actually might get in trouble. But
Yeah.
take my word for it, and maybe take Noah's word for it. And if you are making this, don't overdo it on the vanilla. But I will. I mean, that one's perfect for the season. It's snowing. It snowed outside. Noah's driving through a winter wonderland right now, so I bet hot chocolate doesn't even sound that bad.
Sounds pretty good.
I can't even tell you the last time I had a hot chocolate.
Yeah.
What were some of the stories that you really really enjoyed? Obviously, we kind of touched on the sports ones. Maybe like anything outside of the sports one that really caught your eye. And I know you can't be
Um,
biased towards one or the other because I know you'll get shot down for that, and we don't want that. But
Just a sample,
um,
you know.
I'll be pretty biased. I really enjoyed the student parent story. They're advertised very well around the community, and I think it's important that like their voices are heard as well because there are students at Central that are parents, and how is their life different from mine? How is their life different from either of you?
Yeah. That's
as we
really
move
cool.
as we're moving forward, and you look back on this one, what are your plans moving forward with either Pulse or just in general? What do you have coming up in the future, next quarter, and what are your hopes now that you've got this done and you have this experience of being EIC? Like, what do you hope to do with that in the future?
So with Pulse specifically, we started being more collaborative the whole quarter. So designers, photographers, and writers working together hand in hand. And I think just doing that more,
Right.
we'll have an extended, more class time for everyone to meet together. And I think it helped and it showed the designs and the photographs and the words all coming together as one. So I think doing that more. And then for me, I think this was a good chance to see like what it's like leading a publication because I'm still deciding what I want to do. I went
Yeah.
from wanting to be a sports broadcaster and writing newspaper articles on sports to then I started writing for the magazine and I was like, oh, I might actually like magazine writing.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
I took broadcast journalism with Terry and I was like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
I could be a broadcaster. And then now I have this experience of being an editor and the editor in chief and like, oh, I might want to do that when I'm done. So I think just exploring that option more.
That's the
That's
beauty of
cool.
student
Yeah.
media, right? Like you get to experience I mean you get to, but at the same time you have to experience all the different facets whenever you because you have to do each one of them at least once. So you really get to broaden your perspective on what you enjoy doing in student media. And I think Pulse does a great job at really like showing the visual side of the stories that we tell and the people that we get to interview, as well as it's a culmination of everything that student media is. I mean, we got this podcast that we do every single week where we just talk and we be dumb behind a microphone, but then we got the people who are writing hard-hitting stories that have a lot of meaning to them and to their readers. You got the photographers, you got videographers whenever you're looking at the videos like this. You got the web designers, you've got the actual designers. Pulse, I think, is like kind of the perfect culmination of everything. It's the reporting, it's the designing, it's the writing, it's the editing, it's everything. And I think you guys knock it out of the park. And specifically with this one, you guys definitely knocked out of the park with this one. So I congratulate you guys on that. And I've enjoyed every story that I've read in it so far. I got to finish reading it. I'll be honest, I haven't read all of them yet, but I will get through it. I'm also going to hand out a bunch of these to my friends at home when I go home for Christmas break, just to show them the kind of stuff that we work on here. Specifically you guys. I'm not going to say we. I didn't do any of this. I don't deserve to be mentioned in here, but I just want to say great job on that. It is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone seemed very excited when we were tabling yesterday to get their hands on a new issue. And some people, like, it was like they'd never heard of it before. So it was like, oh, wow, there was like genuine shock there. They're like, oh, yeah, I'll actually give this a read. So that was really cool. And I think touching on the collaborative aspect and celebrating that is really important to note going forward. Because, yeah, you guys both mentioned it, that it seems like everyone from all the different media teams are really banding together. And it's creating for more like personal and fun and informative stories with the passion showing through. So I like that.
Thing is, hopefully, we have plans. I've made plans with our photographer Dylan Hansen to do some crossovers with the other publications. Hopefully,
that's kind of.
I mean, I'm hearing those promos. Good stuff.
It's kind of what we do here. You know, the crossover. We bring everyone together. We get posted on other people's websites and whatnot, even if it doesn't go as smoothly as we hope it would. But Dylan, I don't want to take up too much of your time because you are driving, and I want you to enjoy your drive. Maybe listen to some music on the way over there. I got 2 hard-hitting questions for you on the way out. I think the first hard-hitting one would be, how would you rate Deacon and I performance this quarter on this podcast as the 2 stooges behind the microphone that we come on every single week and just do dumb stuff? And then secondly, what you got any big plans for break? Are you gonna hit this break hard and really enjoy it, or are you just gonna chill and hang out?
So first off, for the break,
Best
just train to get back into shape for rugby,
Nice.
and make plans for next quarter. Work on the schedule for class.
Show off.
Update some rubrics.
Some teacher lore.
Thanks for making me look bad.
And then if I had to grade you guys.
Oh, geez. Be honest. Tell it straight. Give it to me straight.
Our plan for roadie on the street fell through a little bit.
Yeah.
We gotta bring that in next quarter.
Yeah.
I'm willing to work with that. I'm 100% in.
I'll give you guys a 10. I'll give you guys a 10.
What, out of 20?
I enjoy our podcast episodes.
Wow. You know what? We'll take that. The issue with that is that there's no more room to improve, so we're just gonna plateau or get worse.
Yeah, I'll give us a 6. I mean, tops.
Next time you just gotta add roadie in the street. Maybe it's 11 out of 10.
Okay.
Get some extra credit.
We can do that. Jen and I, we've talked. We've had some brief mentions about things that we're working on in the future. As we've mentioned and we've teased the entire time we've been doing this, a new name possibly. That's one of the big things that I want to cross off the list, is a new name.
Man, my name was so good. I'll just say I'll hype myself up a little bit, but
it's still there. It's still available. We can take it.
Is it?
We can claim it.
We'll see.
All right, Noah, any parting words as you head to the west side and you reflect on the launch of Pulse?
Just everyone watching, grab yourself a copy of Pulse, grab a copy of Observer. Just support the student media.
Like the plug. Oh man, I had 2 magazines and I wanted to hold both of them, but I don't know where the other one went. So I'm just gonna switch hands here. But yep, 100%. Congratulations. Drive safe. And you know what? Even on as an outro, I didn't even think about this. We'll see you guys next year. The next time you'll see us, we'll probably have Noah back because I think Noah's going to be a reoccurring guest every single season. We've established that. Well, starting this season. So we've had him on twice. He'll be back next quarter for sure as we look ahead to what's going to happen with Pulse. Can't thank you guys enough for listening this season. And we got some bigger and better things coming your way. The production of the show is going to be a lot better. I can promise you that.
Yep.
More consistent.
Going up and up every year, man.
More entertaining, hopefully.
This is when TV shows start to hit their peak around season 3 to 4. So let's hit that stride.
That's what we're going for. Deacon, anything you want to leave them off with?
No, I'm just thankful for the opportunity to continue to do this and speak to so many people that put themselves out there and show off their talents with what they've been given and want to just interview and share other people's stories. I'm really passionate about that. So
yeah, absolutely. Noah, can't thank you enough, man. Can't thank your passenger for listening to us as well, because a bunch of idiots on this side. Drive safe, and both you guys enjoy the winter break, and we'll see you guys next quarter on season 3 of. I'm not gonna say the Student Media Podcast.
We don't know the name.
Come back, and if it's a different name, that'd be embarrassing. And like I said, high production value coming next season, so we're working on that.
Sounds great.
All right, thanks guys. Student Media Podcast season 2 signing off.